All right, everyone, what is going on? Thank you for listening on TuneIn or Spotify or Stitcher or wherever the hell you listen to this show. It is everywhere. It is the most popular Oakland Raiders podcast in the world. And guess what? The Oakland Raiders just played their last game in Oakland, and the Raiders laid an egg. They lost again. This team lost their last game in Oakland against the Jaguars, who were on a 5-game losing streak. A team that had an awful defense coming in. A team that, they were just terrible. Their last 4 or 5 games, this team was atrocious. And the Raiders, yes, they have been really, really bad lately, but so were the Jags. And this was the last game in Oakland. And if the Raiders were going to win one game this season, it had to be this game. All of these people go to that game. It's the last game in Oakland. And what do the Raiders do? They do the same thing they have been doing all season long. They don't show up in the second half. It is remarkable how this team just decides not to play football in the second half. In the last 4 games, they have no points on offense. They've been outscored, I believe, it's 41-0. 41-0. It might even be 44-0, but I think it's 41-0 in the last 4 games in the second half. This team, this is beyond bad. And guess what? I got to tell you something. The quarterback that plays for that team, a lot of Raider fans for some reason don't want to criticize Derek Carr. When you are the franchise quarterback and you got a big contract like that, what was it, $120 million? You deserve to be criticized. You can go and block people and do whatever you want to do. I don't care about your thin skin or your doofus little brothers. I don't give a shit. Because I come on here to tell the truth. And the truth is, you should not. You know what you should do? Sell that house in Vegas you built next to Gruden, because Gruden does not want to see you ever again. You are not the quarterback for this team. That's just the way it is. I'm sorry, this guy just does not have it. It's been 6 years, 6 seasons, and this guy is yet to win a playoff game. If this was any other organization, they would have moved on by now. If this was any other fan base, the entire fan base would be all in sync and saying, yes, it's time to move on. This guy does have some good games here and there, but when we get to December, when these games matter, when they count, this guy simply does not have it. He does not show up. For some reason, I would say only about 70% of Raider fans actually say that, and the rest blame it on everything else. Oh, he doesn't have wide receivers. Oh, he doesn't have this. Listen, the Patriots don't have any wide receivers. Last time I checked, I think they did today, right? They clinched the AFC East. They lost, 3 or 4 games? Come on. This is insane. This is insane, people. This guy is just not, he doesn't have it. He doesn't got it. I'm sorry. He's not a star anymore. He's just not. I know he had that one good season in 2016, which I'm sorry to say, I say it all the time, it was a fluke. Go back and look at those games. This guy won most of those games by a point or a field goal. He almost lost the game about 7 times, but the defender dropped the interception. It was a fluke. This guy has not played like that since. And, of course, then there will be people who blame John Gruden. I guess you can blame John Gruden to a degree, but the weird part is, if you watch the game, what did Jacksonville really do? Did they do anything different from the first half to the second half? Because I really didn't notice much. I really didn't. What I noticed was Derek Carr not being accurate when it mattered. And we can go all the way back to the first quarter. The Raiders were up 7-3. It was 3rd and 7. 3rd and 7. Go back and watch this if you want. Go on Jaguars versus Raiders highlights from the NFL Network, and it's the top one. Go back and watch it. At 1:30, that's where you pause. You will see Derek Carr overthrowing Darren Waller in the end zone. That should have been a touchdown. They could have got a touchdown there, made it 14-3. This was my problem with this game. The Raiders had this Jacksonville team on the ropes the entire first half. They're kicking field goals when they should have been scoring touchdowns. Derek Carr was obviously scared every time he got the ball. He did scramble one play today. And Rich Gannon mentioned this, by the way, if you're listening to it on CBS, that this is what Gruden has been begging him to do all season long. And that is accurate. I've been saying that all season long, yet people don't want to believe me. John Gruden wants a guy that can scramble. He wants a guy that will take off for a first down, like Minshew did today for the Jags. Because when the play breaks down and your wide receivers are not very good or they're not open, go ahead and run for the first down. But Derek Carr never does that. He did it once today. He could have did it 10 times today. But he doesn't do it because he doesn't have the passion to do it. He doesn't have the fight. He doesn't have the fighting spirit to do it. He's not a leader. He's not a leader. And I don't care what anyone says. It's the truth. I mean, all you have to do is watch these football games. The fact of the matter is, I don't care who the coach is. He's throwing the football. I understand Tyree Williams dropped the pass here and there. The one he dropped late in the game, it didn't really matter. First of all, that pass was not a very good pass. And he wouldn't have got a first down anyways. The guy was surrounded by 3 defenders, like Rich Gannon said. Derek Carr probably should have never even thrown that ball. But back to the first quarter. Back to the 3rd and 7. It's the first quarter. 4 minutes and 58 seconds on the clock. He overthrows this ball to Darren Waller out of the end zone. The Raiders had to settle for 3. But if you go back and watch that play, and I beg you to go back and watch this play. I really do. Because, listen, here's the deal. Some of you guys may not know me. Some of you guys have no idea who I am. But I've been watching football and analyzing football since I've been 10 years old. I know what I'm talking about when it comes to these things. I really don't care what anyone says. I know I am correct. And the people I speak to, they are way more knowledgeable than me when it comes to these things. And they think the same way I think. That Derek Carr is not scoping the field well. He doesn't feel the pressure well. That's why he gets sacked so much, because he doesn't feel the pressure. Good quarterbacks do. But let's go back to this play real quick. So Darren Waller, he's running a simple go route down the sideline. Simple go route. Derek Carr, first of all, never even looks at a different option. But if he did look at a different option, if he even checked it out, first of all, he had a cross pattern right in the middle of the field. Any one of these guys would have picked up the first down, maybe more. Maybe more. I think Jalen Richard probably would have scored. He had Zay Jones crossing on one side, and he had Jalen Richard crossing on the other. Again, go back and watch the highlights. Pause it at 4 minutes and 58 seconds in the first quarter. I mean, that's the only way you'll understand what I'm talking about. But you will see, if you pause it at 4 minutes and 58 seconds, you will see Jalen Richard and Zay Jones doing a crossing route. Jalen Richard is completely open. There's no one even next to him. Zay Jones has a guy there, a safety behind him, or linebacker, sorry. But, yeah, that guy's not getting to him either. So, I mean, either way, this would have been a first down. But instead, Derek Carr never even looks at these dudes. He overthrows it. So the Raiders, of course, have to settle for 3. So instead of the game being 14-3 and completely taking over, the momentum at that point, if it was 14-3, I promise you, the Raiders win this game. They win the game very easily if it was 14-3. But they don't do that. Instead, they kick a field goal, like I said, and, they make it 10-3, so not a big deal. Jacksonville still in the game, no problem. It's just the way it is. And like I said, Derek Carr, he threw some good passes. There's no doubt about it today. But he also just can't feel the pressure. He just cannot feel the pressure. He was getting sacked today when he really shouldn't be getting sacked. He's not stepping up. He's not moving. He sees guys come at him and he runs backwards. That's what he does. He's not like a Gardner Minshew who, will run around or try to make a play, improvise. I'm watching Minshew right now improvise. Even when he gets sacked, what's Minshew doing? He gets sacked by Max Crosby, who, by the way, this guy is the best player on their defense. But anyways, Crosby sacks Minshew, but what does Minshew do? He tries to at least get out of the pocket and scramble to pick up something. And to do anything. Now it didn't work, but still he tried. He's not running backwards like Derek Carr. And every time Derek Carr does that, by the way, especially when he does it on second down, he turns a 3rd and 12 into a 3rd and 18 because he runs back 5 yards just to get sacked. But anyways, just to go over everything here, it was terrible. Like I said, 41-0 second half, last 4 games. That is just disgusting. This team, they just stall out on offense in the second half. And I understand defense isn't very good. I get it. But in this game, the defense was pretty good. They let up 14 points in the fourth quarter. But once again, the Raiders didn't put no points on the board. They didn't put any points on the board in the third quarter either. So, you're playing an NFL team. Eventually, they're going to put up points against you. That's the way it goes. So the game started out, with the Raiders getting a touchdown. Everything felt good. Then Jacksonville, of course, got a field goal. Then the Raiders, like I said, they should have got a touchdown, but they had to get a field goal. And then after that, that was pretty much it. But, look at the Raiders' defense. They forced Jacksonville a punt, a 3-and-out. Then the Raiders punted. 9 plays punt. They forced Jacksonville to punt, a 3-and-out. The Raiders got the ball again. They punted. Jacksonville got the ball again. 3-and-out. Think about this, guys. The Raiders had all these opportunities. Their defense, which has not been very good all season long, is completely mauling the Jacksonville Jags, yet the offense is not doing anything at all. 3-and-out, 3-and-out, 3-and-out. 4 3-and-outs. The Raiders get the ball and they do nothing with it. They kick a field goal. And still, all the way into half. The Jags got the ball again. After the Raiders kicked the field goal and make it 13-3, the Jags went 4 plays and punted. That's it. And then the Raiders kicked the field goal. They're up 16-3. When you are up 16-3 going into halftime, that is when your quarterback, your franchise quarterback, puts bad teams away. That's what Tom Brady does. That's what Patrick Mahomes does. That's what Drew Brees does. That's what Aaron Rodgers does. When they play bad teams and they have a lead at halftime, a 16-3 lead, they put that team away. This game should have been a blowout. Fans should have been dancing in the stands by the start of fourth quarter. People should have been celebrating and crying and dancing, having a good old time. Remember that game when the Raiders defeated the Jets and Marshawn Lynch was dancing up and down the sidelines? That's what should have been going on in this game. But instead, here we go. Second half. Raiders defense, like I said, played pretty well today. They forced the Jags 3 and out right away. But what do the Raiders do? They get the ball. This is it, Derek. You need to put them away. Nope. 7 plays, 48 yards, and they punt. Then Jacksonville gets the ball. They kick a field goal. Raiders get the ball. Oh, guess what? 7 plays, 10 yards, punt. And then, of course, now you're really screwing your defense. Now you got your defense, they're bound to cave in. I mean, think about it. All of these 3 and outs. It's eventually this other team is going to score. You got to help them out. So the Raiders go 7 plays, 10 yards, they punt. Jacksonville gets the ball, 11 plays, 79 yards, touchdown. Still, only 13-16. And then, of course, Daniel Carlson misses 2 field goals because there was a penalty flag and 1. But that was a 10-play drive, 43 yards, 3 minutes. That should have never been a field goal attempt. You know why? Because Derek Carr should have got a first down instead. He throws it to Tyree Williams. That's the play, by the way. Tyree Williams dropped the ball, which he does drop a lot of passes. And listen, I guess we could start talking about next year. The Raiders save $11 million if they get rid of him. He is not worth $11 million. I know he's dealing with his foot injury, but he does drop a lot of passes. So I will give Derek Carr that. This guy does drop a lot of passes. And I want to make this clear. Yes, Derek Carr's not working with the best talent in the world. That is a fact. But he still has Darren Waller. He still has Josh Jacobs. I mean, he still has some pieces around him. And I just think, like I said, he's not scoping the field. He's not. He's not a winner. I mean, do we have to go over his record in cold weather? Do we have to go over his record in Arrowhead? How about the last 4 games in the second half? We already went over those numbers. In December, what is Derek Carr's record? The guy's terrible. If you ever want to be a Super Bowl champion, you need a quarterback that can win in December. Derek Carr is not your guy, Raider fan. Derek Carr is not your guy. The Raiders, they can't trade this guy. His market value, who's going to want him? Maybe you can send him to Miami, maybe, but I don't think they're going to give a first-round pick. So I have a feeling he's going to be the quarterback next season. I really do. Unless the Raiders can get a trade. I mean, I guess I would keep him because he's so cheap, but I would definitely draft a quarterback and see how it goes. Make it an Alex Smith, Patrick Mahomes type situation when they're both in Kansas City. That's what I would do, but I think Mark Davis wants a win right away. If you want to win right away, you got to make sure you pick the right quarterback. That is going to be key. Now, you're not going to win a Super Bowl with Derek Carr. This guy can't win a Super Bowl. He can't. If you can't beat Kansas City and you can't win in a cold, you're never going to win a Super Bowl. It's just not going to happen. So the Raiders got to figure something out there. But anyways, that drop pass by Tyree Williams, like I said, was never going to be a first down either way. The guy was short of sticks and there's 3 defenders there. He also threw a pass to Jalen Richard, but it was totally off target. It hit the guy's shoulder pad, for crying out loud. And I see Raider fans on Twitter saying, well, Jalen Richard dropped that pass. No. Why don't you put it right in the numbers? And you don't need to throw a fastball and hit his shoulder pad. Jalen Richard didn't even know the ball was coming. Plus, there was a dude right there anyways. I mean, it was just dumb. But like I said, I'm not defending these receivers. They do drop a lot of passes. But I'm just telling you, Derek Carr is not the quarterback. But anyways, the Raiders missed the field goal. And, of course, Minshew magic as this guy marches down the field and ruins the game for the Raiders as Jacksonville wins 20-16. Raider fans were booing Derek Carr. Very happy for all of you guys. You guys should have booed him out of the building. I mean, he is terrible. You guys did the right thing. You really did. Listen, I mean, let me just explain how bad this is for you guys, okay? If the Raiders would have won against Jacksonville, they would technically still be alive in the playoff run. Because the Tennessee Titans lost today. And right now, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen at the end of the game, but right now there's 2 minutes left in the Pittsburgh and Buffalo game, and Buffalo is winning 17-10. So if the Raiders would have won today, all Steelers would need to do is lose next week, and the Raiders win. I mean, it could happen. There was a small percentage that the Raiders actually could have still made the playoffs if the Raiders won today, but that did not happen. And, I mean, come on. Playoffs? Are you kidding me? Playoffs? This team can't even win a game. But they lose the last game in Oakland, and I just felt so bad for all those fans. And I know people are saying, oh, look at these Oakland fans throwing things. Okay, I would too. I mean, this is the last game in Oakland. You're not playing the Packers. You're not playing Patrick Mahomes, who owns Derek Carr's ass. You're not playing any of those people. You're playing Jacksonville. They're on a 4 or 5 game losing streak. They are awful. They have been the worst team in the last 4 weeks in all of the NFL. Right next to the Raiders. They have been awful. This is a game where the Raiders should be able to win. Minshew was terrible in this game in the first. I mean, for all of the game. Really. He basically had one good drive. One good drive. I guess the last drive was pretty good. He went 7 plays, 65 yards. So 2 good drives this entire game. He was off target all game long. The Raiders defense were doing what they had to do. All Derek Carr needed to do is score points in the second half. Something he hasn't done in 4 weeks. He didn't score a single point. So, I mean, what is going on? You can say, oh, it's the wide receivers. This is that. Then why are they scoring in the first half and then they're not scoring in the second? I'll tell you why. Because Josh Jacobs is so busy in the first half. He's carrying that team. And at some point, Derek Carr needs to carry that team. But he can't carry the team because he's not a franchise quarterback. He's an overpaid quarterback. He had 1 good year and Mark Davis got duped. That's what happened. He is Andy Dalton 2.0, but I think Andy Dalton might be a little bit better. Not joking. The Raiders need to draft a new quarterback. They need to go in a different direction. They really do. They need to go in a different direction. Now, like I said, I have a feeling that the Raiders will keep Derek Carr for next season, and they still might draft a quarterback if one good is available. But I have a feeling they might keep Derek Carr next season, draft a quarterback, and then in 2021, then a new guy takes over. That way, there's really no hard feelings. See you later, Derek Carr. Go be a minister or whatever the hell you're doing. It's just, I just don't think he loves football. I really don't. And I'm so sick of the excuses. And I'm so sick of the Raider fans that have that motto, win, lose, or tie. We're Raider Nation till we die. Oh, yeah? Those fans don't look like the Raider Nation till they die when they lose that were in Oakland today, that were throwing stuff on the field and booing the quarterback. No. Because everyone knows that little saying is BS. If you like to lose, then you are a loser. If you enjoy losing, why are you watching? It's weird. The owner, the late, great Al Davis had a motto. It was called just win. And that's all I care about. I cover this team. But I'm not invested like you guys. My team doesn't exist anymore. I love the Houston Oilers. And now I just root for whoever plays against the Patriots. But I cover this team for Raider fans because I love Raider fans. Some of them are dummies. Not the ones in the greatest subscription group of all time. But most, I see people on Twitter that are just dummies. This win, lose, or tie BS it's BS. You should want to win every game. Losing should not be acceptable. Do you think John Gruden sits back there and says, I don't mind losing. I like it. No one says that. And listen, it's okay to criticize your quarterback. I see these people. I think one little kid has like a podcast or something. I believe he does. I think he probably gives money to the Derek Carr church or something. It looks like he's a little too close with the family. It's a little weird. I don't know. He looks like a little kid. He might be like 14 years old. I don't know. He has a podcast. I can't mean. It's like Raider something. I really can't tell you the name of it right now. But anyways, I mean, this guy, I mean, like I said, I don't want to be mean to him. I think he's just a little kid. But I mean, he wears a Derek Carr jersey and he's all like, it's really pathetic. You know what I mean? Luckily he's a kid. I can't imagine if this guy was, married with children, you know what I mean? And he's wearing a Derek Carr jersey and saying how much Derek Carr's his hero when he's the same age as him. It's like, geez, relax there, buddy. But listen, it's okay to admit, Derek Carr, he's been here for 6 years. Been with the Raiders for 6 years. He's not the guy. He's never won you a playoff game. He's never done anything. He really hasn't. He's over. He got paid. And maybe that was it. Maybe once he got paid. I mean, James Jones did say it. That this guy was talking about retiring when James Jones was there. And like every football player will tell you, once you get the thought in your head of retirement, you're never the same. So maybe that's the case. I think it is. I think maybe he just does not love football. I really do. Because if he loved football, he would do what John Gruden has been begging him to do all season long. Rich Gannon even said it today on national television that he wants Derek Carr to use his legs. And it's weird because Derek Carr, he is athletic. He can use his legs. But for some reason, he does not do it. Like I said, he did it, I believe he did it last week too. Yeah, last week, it was really weird. He slid about 7 yards before anyone was even there. It was really, really weird. That's what I'm saying. He's soft. He's soft. He's like, Charmin toilet paper. He's soft. He doesn't have passion for the game. So I think the Raiders really need to go in a different direction. But I'm sorry. I really am. I don't mean to bum everyone out. But, I thought it was sad looking at all those fans. They were just in disbelief. Because the Raiders were, they were up. They were up 16-3. And, you have Derek Carr. He's getting paid $120 million. He knows his last game in Oakland. All he has to do is really score a touchdown, right? And the game's pretty much over. But, again, he does not do anything for 2 quarters, just like he hasn't done anything in in the last second half of games. In the last 4 weeks, like I said, outscored 41-0. He is pathetic. It is time for all of Raider Nation to demand a new quarterback. My name is Steven Michaels. I am sorry, guys. Next year, they got to get out of Oakland. Next year is going to get better. I promise you. If there's one good thing about all of this, Derek Carr, first of all, isn't under contract the rest of his life. He's only under contract for a couple more years. The Raiders are probably going to draft a quarterback, like I said. I don't know if Derek Carr starts next year. If he does, it maybe won't be as bad because Gruden will get a ton of wide receivers. The defense is very young. Max Crosby, like I said, this guy's going to be a star. PJ Hall is getting better. Mo Hurst is getting better. Mullen is slowly getting better. Plus, remember, the draft is in Vegas. You got 2 first-round picks. You got 3 third-round picks. This team is building. They are building. And I'm telling you, in a couple of years, this team is going to be very, very good. So, if anything you could take out of this, look for the future. Greatness will lie in the future. I'm telling you right now. It is in the future for the Oakland or Las Vegas Raiders. They will be good in the future. I have no doubt about it. Josh Jacobs is amazing. Hunter Renfrow, once he gets a little bit bigger, and he will, he's going to be really good. This team has a lot of solid pieces, and they're going to build on that. Plus, they're going to Vegas. Free agency, baby. People want to get paid. They're going to go to the Raiders, get paid. This team is going to be good in the future. For now, season's over, obviously. Enjoy the last 2 games. Maybe Derek Carr wins one of them. Probably not. The guy's terrible. I would take anyone over him right now. I'm trying to think of a quarterback that I wouldn't take over Derek Carr, and I can't think of one. I don't know. I can't think of one. He's terrible. He sucks. All right, guys. That's it. Sorry. Last game in Oakland, Derek Carr ruins it for you. 20-16. My name is Steven Michaels. This is the Raiders Daily.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.